Nobody is distracted. Not the way you think that they are. The narrative of distraction is always going to drive us crazy. It is not a distraction if the American people got to sit on the Epstein files for weeks. The Epstein files have been out for weeks now. Life has to keep moving. Other things are happening in the world, despite everything being related to an issue, like the Epstein files. The world was distracted. Jeffrey Epstein's been doing this since 2004, we've been aware of. You're not distracted. You're completely over-fucking-whelmed, and you want to go back to sleep. Or you're not allowed to go back to sleep, and you have no idea what you would fucking do with yourself. So, stop listening to people who say you're distracted, you're distracted. You are trying to figure this shit out in real fucking time, like any fucking human being would. Don't let anyone just say you're distracted. I am sick and tired. I've been doing this shit since 2012. And every day in the conspiracy verse, everyone is saying you've been distracted. I used to say you've been distracted. You've maybe been distracted when Babylon was in full swing with Hollywood and sports. Okay? You know, television, entertainment, the latest product at the shopping mall. All of that was distraction. Now, you've got people that have been paying attention for a very long time, taking advantage of people that just started paying attention, and once they wake up, leading them down the here's the way to not be distracted rabbit hole. Come down my rabbit hole. My rabbit hole is focused. And then that's how people go from a wake-up trigger event to falling right down another passage in Plato's cave before you even had a chance to figure out you were in a cave and how the cave works. And now you're just stuck in another corridor of the rabbit hole, pretending you're not distracted because you aren't aware of what's happening in this weird situation and that weird situation. So you're not distracted. You're overwhelmed. You've been overwhelmed now for quite some time, which is better than being distracted because the distraction kept you asleep. You're not asleep anymore, but you're not very useful as a person who just woke up. You're like Austin Powers coming out of cryo sleep, and you need somebody to move you around while you're getting your whereabouts. Your body is uncontrollably in a need to purge from its very, very long situation. You've developed a lot of things that the body must excrete from the two waste orifices. This is the situation. This is the issue in your life that's of question here. You are otherwise perfectly fine. Because nobody is allowed to not pay attention anymore, but that doesn't mean you will ever figure out what to do about it. You might figure out how to avoid it. That's a big part of it too. That step of, oh my gosh, I don't want to touch all these poisons anymore. That's the reason why Hollywood is dead, because nobody touches their poison. Right? They chose not to run with their film narratives and the progression of American consciousness. They decided to run incongruent of that, of where American consciousness was going. So the narrative became completely incongruent. And as you could see, the narrative happens to be, oh, golly gee, the Epstein social engineering agenda happens to be the DEI initiatives that Hollywood was a major endorser thereof. Before, and he was writing about this stuff before it was a trend to effeminize the men. And the only reason why the effeminization of men worked is because men wanted to be absolute pigs. They wanted to live in their little fucking nerdy verses, including the sports people. Never seen a fucking country so into athletics, and yet the very fandom of those athletes is obese as fuck. And you got a bunch of people that, when you're this level of unconscious, you've golemed yourself. Right? You're in an extension of being like a nothing body who is the plaything of a more conscious individual. And you know this is what they love. This is what makes you among the dead, which is how the actual satanic, not even Saturnic, satanic organizations proper actually call you. And we are seeing that, there is, like, Satanism has never just been, it's never really just been theatrical Satanism for some shallow excuse of owning fundamentalists. They are playing deeply evil psychological trauma games. Right? Gaslighting is absolutely a normal core, like, textbook tactic of these people. It isn't just some clever fucking thing they came up with that we notice happens to be what they call gaslighting. It's like, no, they work with that script. They fucking ran with that fucking movie premise. Hey, what's up? What's up, Holmes? So, you have a right to figure out everything that's going on. You are at where you're at with your time, your value set, your attention, and that's all coming from a deeply personal place, which is why people like me exist. Because if I were just to walk up to any individual who would want to hear this on the street, I may be psychic, but I'm not so psychic where I know you want to hear this. I have to pick up cues before I get an idea of what's going on in your head or whether I am welcome there. Right? Here, you come to me, you hear me out, and you ask, does this bypass my defenses? And do I feel safe and feel like I can accept new things from this channel? I don't just mean this channel. I mean me. I'm a channel. I channel myself, my higher self, my core intelligence, and delivers it to you as the report that it is. And never misconstrue the fact that I have an emotional impulse about it, where I am mad about something, and that you may feel like I would be mad at you if I knew this about you, because I am mad at this thing, right? Which tells you how much you're interested in my whatever, how much you're agreeable to me, so on and so forth. And then hopefully I hit all the marks of saying, I'm willing to start doing everything I need to do to not fall for their traps, and everything I need to do to be a force that stands against this and everything else that needs to be for where we are at right now. So anyway, I'm going to go handle some errands, and I will catch you guys later.